I never thought I would turn 60. I found out that I was HIV positive when I was 31 years old, 30 years old, and was told I had 18 months to live. Um, well, in 1987 or so was when the HIV test first became available to people. And I was at that point involved in helping provide care and raising money for people who were sick. And at that point, I found out that I was positive, and I was told I had 18 months to live. When you're confronted with your mortality at that age, which is unusual, you have to make decisions. What am I going to do with my life? How am I going to approach my life? And I know for some people who face that choice, unfortunately, some people committed suicide, just gave up. Some people said, well, I've got these credit cards, I get 18 months, let's party. There are a lot of choices to make. I think that I was very lucky, incredibly lucky. I think I'm in like 5% of the people who were affected when I was are still alive. And so I consider that so fortunate, and also, again, a responsibility to speak for those people who are not here. There's, I think it takes courage to be who you are. It takes courage to stand up for people who have less than you do, which may mean putting yourself at risk, and may mean making yourself more vulnerable than you would be otherwise. And I think it takes courage to look at the challenges, at the failures of a culture, and say, this is broken, we need to fix this. Much to our surprise, people walked away. The medical system said, we don't know what's going on. The government said, we want nothing to do with this. The pharmaceutical industry said, we want nothing. People got kicked out of hospitals, people got kicked out of their jobs, people were dying, and very few people seemed to care. The general culture did not seem to care. And so people stepped forward. People stepped forward and said, okay, we have people who are sick in these beds. How are we going to take care of them? So there was a combination of creating new systems and new ways of doing things to care for people we loved. And there was also confronting the existing systems the established systems that were not responding to our needs. And I think in some countries, I think my impressions of Denmark is that there's a much stronger social contract between people and the state and each other. And this was one of those examples where the social contract completely collapsed. And it was spring, and I had a garden, and I was trying to decide whether or not I should plant tomatoes. Trying to decide if it was worthwhile to plant the tomatoes, because I didn't know that I'd be there to harvest them. And ultimately I decided I would, because I liked growing them, and that someone else would be there to harvest them even if I was not. And in some ways I think that's how I continue to approach my life, is do the things that I think are important and that I love. And it's that practice that gives me pleasure more than the tomato sauce. But sometimes when death is looking you in the face, you know you have to make a choice. So I'm, like I said, I'm very fortunate. I'm very healthy. I have the immune system of a horse.
That's interesting.
And not too long ago, my doctor said to me, "You're going to die of old age. So you need to take care of your heart, take care of your cholesterol, deal with all the things that anyone your age would have to deal with because if you want to live a long time, that's what you got to do."